Well, we take you live now to Brampton, where Premier Ford is making an announcement alongside
We've got our
Mayor
Deputy
Patrick
Mayor
Brown.
Harkirat Singh, Councillor Vasante, Santos, Keenan, and Power, and we're excited about this project. And I want to thank the Premier for being laser focused on housing, and what he is going to announce today is really a creative way to build housing. Brampton is complicated, and we are committed to transforming our downtown. But our downtown, like many old communities and old downtowns, has challenges that come with it. We want to hit out of the park our housing target the province has given us of 113,000 homes, but it needs to start with our downtown as well. This is the heart of the city. And since the 1820s, we've had some significant challenges with flooding in our downtown because of the impact of the Etobicoke Creek. During the mid-1900s, Brampton experienced a series of devastating floods. To protect the area, the city and the Conservation Authority built infrastructure to improve drainage and stormwater in 1952. The infrastructure continues to function and manage drainage and stormwater to protect the city from flooding, but not to the level that allows us to build housing in the downtown. And there's just so much potential here, so much opportunity to build housing. But the influence of the Etobicoke Creek has limited residential and commercial development in our downtown. So this is an opportunity to unlock that potential. But funding was needed to support this improvement to drainage and complete infrastructure. And it's not cheap. Improving the infrastructure to handle those potential floods, to enable new housing, is a significant cost, and we needed partners with the provincial and federal government to make this possible, to improve the city's overall stormwater system. The outcome of this project will really be a game changer for our downtown and housing. And just to put this into context, the plan the city put out called Riverwalk, which was about enabling economic development in the downtown, when completed, will unlock 3.6 million square feet of residential, commercial, and retail space in the downtown of Brampton, creating more than 23,000 jobs and a 1.4 billion impact on gross domestic product, including 12,900 new homes. And one thing that I love about the Premier is anytime you take to him an idea that really can move the city forward and build housing, he sinks his teeth into it. He starts speaking to the civil servants, making sure, and his caucus and his ministers to make sure they can be part of this. And once again, the Premier has come through for the city of Brampton, stepping up to make sure we have the funding for this critical project. And I have to say, Graham McGregor, you were like a pit bull on this, harassing colleagues at Queen's Park, and thank you for that. And I know our local councillors, this was their biggest project in the downtown, the 4 local councillors wanting to make this happen. Our downtown needs some tender, loving care, and part of the challenge was this needed infrastructure work. And so this enables us to rip the bandage off and build a great downtown that includes housing. You want to see busy shops, busy restaurants. You need people. You need housing for young people. We're one of the fastest growing cities in the country. We need housing for those new residents, and this announcement helps unlock that. So to the Premier, I've said a few thank yous over the last year at different announcements, but I want to say thank you again for being a great friend to the city of Brampton.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor Brown, for being here, Council, my colleagues as well. It's wonderful to be here in Brampton alongside Premier Ford and my caucus members as we take another step forward in our plan to support residents across Ontario. Our government understands the importance of building our province to meet the demands of our growing population, and here in Brampton is no different. We need to do all we can to support the next generation of young people, families, and small businesses. And I am confident today's announcement will do just that. Our government also knows that the demands of a growing population cannot be met without the transportation infrastructure to support it. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, I'm proud to say that we have made countless investments to connect commuters across the region. such as declaring the Hazel-McCallion Line's extension project into downtown Brampton as a priority transit project. The Hazel-McCallion Line. The Hazel-McCallion Line and its extension will serve as a vital link and connect thousands of commuters in Brampton to better jobs, housing, and new opportunities. And this year, we supported Brampton's transit with $21 million through the annual gas tax program. This will help expand service, increase routes, purchase new vehicles, and improve accessibility to increase transit ridership. But that's not all. We're also building the much-needed Highway 413. This critical highway will connect drivers and communities from York, Peel, Halton regions, tackling gridlock throughout the GTA, giving people back more time to spend doing what they love. Just like today's announcements, these are crucial investments that will enhance Brampton's connectivity for generations to come. A strong Brampton is one we know that will play a critical role in driving Ontario's economy forward and transforming the city of Brampton as a whole. And with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Minister Surma, who has been an excellent champion for the city of Brampton. Thank you very much, Minister, and over to you.
Thank you, Minister Sakaria, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here in Brampton today with Premier Ford, Minister Sakaria, Minister McGregor, Mayor Brown, local representatives to share some exciting news about the progress our government is making to build Ontario and unlock new housing for communities across the province. Infrastructure connects people to their families and friends and the essential services they rely on every day. To keep pace with the province's fast-growing population, we know that we must maintain and expand Ontario's infrastructure to protect Ontario's standard of living. That's why our government is making targeted investments to deliver on key infrastructure priorities like building more homes, expanding transit, and improving recreational infrastructure in communities across Ontario. In fact, we're investing more than $20 million to support community and recreation services right here in Brampton, like the Jacuzzi Wellness Center and the new Archdeacon Park pedestrian bridge over Etobicoke Creek, which will help improve safety and active transportation for Brampton residents. We know that building Ontario also means building more homes, and new homes should not be built or approved without access to clean water, wastewater, and stormwater systems. In fact, there are communities across the province that would like to approve new housing, but need to address their water capacity issues first. We heard from municipalities that replacing, repairing, and expanding pipes and treatment facilities was a huge financial burden as they looked for ways to build more homes. Mayor Brown spoke to this. That's why we are providing municipalities with more than $1.9 billion in infrastructure funding that was announced in our last budget. We awarded $970 million through the first intake of our Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund to help municipalities develop, repair, rehabilitate, and expand local water infrastructure systems to unlock 511,000 more homes across Ontario. In response to the high demand for this program, our government is investing an additional $250 million to launch a second intake, allowing more municipalities to apply for funding to support their local water needs and enable even more housing opportunities. We are currently accepting applications until November 1st under the second intake, and I encourage all eligible municipalities to apply. While water infrastructure is essential in getting more homes built, we know that other infrastructure upgrades are also necessary to accommodate growth. In order to address this, we recently launched the core servicing stream under our infrastructure program. This stream will provide municipalities with $400 million to build, maintain, and repair core assets like roads, bridges, and new culverts to connect new homes with reliable roadways and other municipal assets. Applications for funding under this core servicing stream are also now open and will be closing on October 18th. As you can see, the province is stepping up to ensure municipalities have the support they need to grow in a responsible way. Together with our municipal partners, we'll get the job done. Thank you, and now let's invite the Premier to the podium.
Well, first of all, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Kinga, for that introduction. And I'll tell you, it's great to be back in the beautiful city of Brampton. Mayor, I think I'm here every single week, probably twice a week, but it's always great to be back here alongside Minister Surma, Minister Sarkaria, Associate Minister Williams, Associate Minister McGregor, MPP Amarjot Sandhu, and the CEO of TRCA, John McKenzie. And John, please pass on my thanks to everyone for doing a great job at your facility there. And Graham, before we even begin, I want to thank you for taking on the role of Associate Minister of Auto Theft and Bail Reform. Thank you. And this is such an important issue for our constituents here in Brampton, but everywhere across Ontario as well. I know you're going to do a great job fighting auto theft and helping to keep more repeat violent criminals in jail where they belong. So thank you for your work, my friend. I also want to give a big thank you to Mayor Brown. You know, I was running through my schedule, and I'm not blowing smoke here. We have 444 municipalities. We get along with probably all of them. Some have better relationships, and I told someone last night, I wish I had 443 other mayors like Mayor Brown. And don't get me wrong, we have great mayors, great relationships. But Patrick, you're an absolute champion. You have an incredible council. And very seldom do you see that. I have an opportunity to travel around the province, and they have a tight group of councillors, all know each other. All my MPPs in Brampton, they all know each other. So what a great team here in Brampton. And when we all work together and work collaboratively and work shoulder to shoulder, there's nothing that we can't get done. And I also want to thank your staff here. We can't move without the staff. So thank you to all the staff that works here at City Hall for hosting us today and for being such a great partner to our government. As others have already mentioned, Brampton is growing faster than it's ever grown before. Folks, when I moved here 35 years ago, and I was here for 5 years, I remember the 410 wasn't in, and I think the population was about 150,000. Compared to where we're at now, it's absolutely astonishing. In fact, it's the fastest growing big city in the entire country. And thanks to the hard work of the mayor and council and their staff, thanks to our province's competitive business environment, the city is attracting billions of dollars in new investments and jobs in the auto sector, in the tech and manufacturing sector. And actually, Mary, you have to join me up to the Stellantis plant up there. I just got an invitation, so I'll tell you when we're going, and the great folks up there too. But while this growth is just incredible, we have to work to do the best we can to make sure that we build the infrastructure needed to support this growth and ensure it's sustainable for generations to come. We can't make the same mistakes that previous governments made when they refused to invest in infrastructure and our province's growth. Folks, we're investing over $200 billion, no matter if it's in infrastructure on roads and highways and bridges, on infrastructure when it comes to transit, schools and hospitals. We took a different approach than the previous government. Our government is planning for the future with the most ambitious plan to build in Canadian history. Ministers Surma and Sarkaria already spoke about the investments we're making in community and transportation projects. In healthcare, we're investing $50 billion on more than 50 hospital projects across the province, including by bringing a new hospital with a 24/7 emergency department to Brampton. And I can assure the people of Brampton, every level of government, and working with their staff, we are just all over this on a daily basis. We're also building the brand new TMU Medical School at the Bramley Civic Center. That's going to be state of the art. In education, we're investing $16 billion to build, repair, and expand schools, including new schools in Brampton to support the growth we've seen here in Brampton. And friends, we're working closely with our municipal partners, laying the groundwork to tackle Ontario's housing supply crisis. Back in February, I joined Mayor Brown here at City Hall to deliver a big $25.5 million check from the Building Faster Fund, a $1.2 billion program that rewards municipalities for reaching annual housing targets. Municipalities like Brampton can use this money for infrastructure projects to lay the groundwork for more housing. In addition, as Minister Sermon mentioned, last month we announced the first round of investments from the Housing Enabling Water System Fund, a total of $970 million. That will help build more than 500,000 homes across 60 municipalities. And today, I'm thrilled to announce that this first round of funding includes $29.7 million for the City of Brampton to enhance its stormwater management system. This money will help the city upgrade 600 meters of the Etobicoke Creek to improve the flow of stormwater runoff and floods. And once complete, will help Brampton get almost 13,000 new homes built faster. It's an important step towards achieving Brampton's Riverwalk project. It will help revitalize the city's downtown core and support the growing population and economic growth taking place across the region. Friends, it's so important that we get shovels in the ground for new homes in every part of this province. And Mayor Brown, we're going to keep working with you nonstop and all the mayors across the province to build the housing enabling infrastructure you need to meet and exceed your housing targets and to bring the dream of home ownership into reach for more people. We're going to get it done. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining us, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now go to reporters' questions. Reporters, please line up at the mic behind me. Please identify yourselves by name and outlet. It'll be one question, one follow-up. First reporter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Premier. This is Nitin Chopra from Prime Asia.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Question is for the break and enters. So we have seen the armed robberies during the night time. We have seen the violent armed robberies during the midnight time, and residents are worried. Question is, if criminal has the rights, and they have all the rights here, and why don't homeowners, when they get these armed robbers nowhere in the midnight, and they don't have the rights, homeowners don't have the rights, why can't the government bring some legislation to give more rights to the homeowners so that they can defend and protect themselves from these armed criminals, where this is a very serious concern of the residents, and it is in front of you. So residents need a legislation, and this is the demand of the police also. When we talk to the police officers, they need to protect themselves. They can't shoot the intruders. They can't hurt the intruder. What can they do? Thank you.
Yeah, well, great question. And before I hand it over to our new minister, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do. First of all, it starts with a criminal code from the federal government. When we catch these people, these bad guys, because they're 99.9% are guys, you know, we need to throw them in jail. We don't need to throw them in jail for a day or 2 days. We need to send them to jail for years and keep them behind bars, because if there's a deterrent, people are going to think twice about breaking in to someone's home. And it starts with a criminal code, then it starts with our judges and our JPs. We can't be letting these criminals out on the streets. You know, I use this example. Many doors get kicked in, guns are put to people's heads. Terrifying experience. And guess what? The guy's back out on the streets to repeat the same crime he did the night before, because we have a weak system, weak criminal system. You know, you try to do this down in the States, two things are going to happen. You're getting caught and you're going to jail for years, or the homeowner is going to shoot you, one of the two. And I'd rather keep guns out of communities, and I'd rather really support our police that we're putting a lot more money into guns and gangs across the region, and just supporting our police. But the judges and the JPs have to keep them in jail, and the federal government has to change the criminal code. Simple as that. And I'll pass it over to Minister McGregor for his comments.
Yeah, thanks for that, Premier. And the Premier's bang on. You know, your question is something that we're seeing here in Peel. While we have a lot of these home invasions and carjackings and violent crime are linked to the auto theft problem. And while we've seen auto theft decline about 14% across the province, about 9% here in Peel, we've seen a large increase in the violent interactions. So there's two ways they kind of steal cars. One is out of your driveway in the middle of the night. The other is, you know, at your car or at your home with a weapon saying, you know, give me the keys. And we've been investing in police through the auto theft, the Protecting Against Auto Theft grant, through the STEP program, through the CISO, bolstering the Criminal Intelligence Service Ontario. We've seen some good results. Namely here in Peel, we saw Project Warlock, 18 individuals, 150 criminal code charges that were laid for violent carjackings, home invasions. One case where somebody's literally woken up with a gun to their head saying, give me the keys to your car. Police are doing their job, we're resourcing them properly, but by the time we were announcing the results of Project Warlock here in Peel, 9 of the 18 individuals were already out on bail. We can't have the same slap on the wrist system, violent offenders getting out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different times to commit the same offenses. And the Premier's exactly bang on with his comment. While politicians can't order judges, federal politicians do write the criminal code. And we've been calling on our friends in Ottawa to implement meaningful bail reform. They've taken a few steps, but they need to do more. And rest assured, this is something that our government's on top of, and we're all over it. Thank you.
My next question is for Minister Sarkaria, and Premier Ford can also comment on that. Ontario is the only province where a visitor can take a commercial truck driving license. And we can't say nobody knows it, everybody knows it. Why can't we ban that visitor? Because many of the accidents we see on the highways, this may be one of the causes that untrained drivers are on our highways. And also in the Service Ontario, and where the driving license centers are there, many fraudulent people are operating, adding fake experiences, making dummy driver licenses. And we reported this to police also, gave the name of those people, those who are doing this. So we need a legislation on this also, that these fraudulent people and these visitors, how can they drive commercial trucks on our highways? This is the biggest road safety issue. Thank you, Premier.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's a real skill set to be able to drive one of those tractor trailers. And they're big pieces of equipment, and you have to be qualified. It has to be legal. There's no lying on applications, or we need to deal with it. It's very simple, and I know the minister's doing a great job. I've talked to him about the driving schools 100 times, about 100 times, and or 101 times. But I'll pass it over to the minister. He's quite familiar with this.
We've been listening to the Premier alongside Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown announcing an investment of upwards of $30 million in critical infrastructure. It's all in an effort to get about 13,000 homes built faster in that region.